Hey, I'm Nick Niehaus. I'm one of the co-founders of Business Video School, and I've been experimenting a lot with AI since I got access to it, just like a lot of you probably did when ChatGPT was first released. And I think I may have sort of invented a new form of marketing. So you can certainly judge that for yourself. But what I'm going to show you today is how you can develop your own completely unique AI powered tools that you can then use as a lead magnet. So it's probably going to be easiest to just sort of show you what I mean. So let me go ahead and share my screen here, and I'll talk a little bit about what the heck AI powered lead magnet is in the first place. So here's a few examples. I'm going to start out by just kind of going over a few tools that I've built. The idea here is really simple. If you're familiar with a lead magnet, this will make more sense. So let me tell you what that is first. A lead magnet is just something that you create that you give away to people for free as a way to get their contact information, right? So they say, "Ooh, I want that free guide. Here's my email." Okay. This is taking that concept to an entirely new level because instead of giving everybody the same guide or white paper, whatever it might be, you're going to give them a tool that will give them a completely unique experience every single time. So that guide is now being customized for every single person who accesses it. I think once this catches on, we're not going to see the old form of lead magnets much more anymore because this probably is just simply going to give people a much, much better experience, right? Every single time someone uses the tool, they're getting a unique response. So here's my first example. This is an ideal neighborhood finder. You might want to also call it a neighborhood matchmaker. And the idea here is really simple. This would be something a real estate agent could use, right? So they're going to go out there on Facebook, running ads, sending emails, whatever they might want to do, and say, "Hey, look, if you're thinking about moving, I have a completely new AI tool that we developed that's going to help you find the ideal neighborhood for you," which is much more important than just getting a generic guide. So the way this tool works, come in here and let's just say, put in Chicago just as a quick example, and then they can describe their ideal neighborhood, right? So I might say, lots of trees, good schools, let's see, fun restaurants. All right. And look, the reality is, my spelling probably doesn't really matter there. I'm just going to go ahead and submit that. It'll know what I meant. There you go. I mean, literally, it takes like 3 seconds to get a response. And these responses are customized every single time, including a link to a search for homes for sale in that neighborhood. Now, this is a generic version, so it's going to link to Zillow, but a real estate agent could develop this tool to link to a search result on their own website. So you can imagine if you go out there in your marketplace as an agent and you go, "Hey, I know you might be thinking about where you're going to move. Let me provide you with a tool that's going to help you make that decision." Then you're going to be their go-to agent when it comes time to move, right? I mean, you're probably the only person in your market offering something like this. So let me go over a few other examples, just kind of show you more of what I mean. Maybe you're a videographer, right? In this case, I created a YouTube video planner. You describe kind of what it is you want to cover in your video, and it's going to plan out the entire thing for you. Here's another example. This would be more for like a jeweler. This is an engagement ring selector. So you come in here, a fiance can come in, describe, their fiance, what are some of their interests, what does their relationship look like, what's their budget, and it'll recommend the style of ring that they should purchase. And then one more example here, and a lot of these are kind of marketing geared because that's my background. This is an email subject line and pre-header generator. And so this is one where you're going to describe your audience. You're going to describe what it is you're promoting in your email. There's even a drop down for the tone of voice that you want to use in the subject and pre-header, and it's going to generate a bunch of ideas for the user. So this is obviously something that is pretty new. It might initially look like, wow, that'd be cool if I could have something like this for my business, but I'm sure it has to be complicated to make these, right? Well, the good news is it's actually surprisingly, almost shockingly simple to put these together. Now, there is some technical steps you're going to have to go through. You might not nail it on your first try, but I'm going to show you here in the next 15 minutes or so how you can make one of these for your own business. All right, it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, let me start by kind of showing you where we are, kind of where we're hosting these tools, and give you a little bit of overview of this process. And then we're going to do it. We're going to see how it turns out. All right. So I'll cross my fingers that it turns out okay before we're done here. So first and foremost, where are we going to host the tool and what do we need to build it? Well, the first thing you need to know is we're going to be hosting this on huggingface.co. So if I go to the home page of huggingface.co. This is what it looks like, right? This is what you might see when you log in, right? And this is going to have, if we go to this tab here, spaces. What huggingface.co is essentially it's a hosting platform for experimental AI tools. There's a lot in here, okay? And if you scroll through, you can probably get overwhelmed pretty quickly. It looks kind of cluttered, right? It's the kind of site that's for sort of nerdy, techie type people, right? So if you're really into AI and learning, different tools, experimenting, all that kind of stuff, definitely check it out. If you're not, you don't have to understand the website in order to be able to follow along, right? So what I want you to do, though, is if you would like to follow my process and literally duplicate what I'm going to be showing you here, what you can do is just search for my profile, which is going to be N Niehaus. And then, really it doesn't matter which of these tools you get. But if you want to find that neighborhood matchmaker, right? So you see, if you start to search for me, it'll either recommend it as one of the options, or you can just search for like the term matchmaker, for example. It'll pull up on your screen. Go ahead and click it, and you should find what you need here. So this looks like it's an older version. Let me go make sure I find the right one for you so I don't send anybody to the wrong place here. Let me do that one more time. Let's see. I think this might be it. Nope, that's not it either. I've got too many of these matchmakers. So this is the one I'm looking for. Neighborhood matchmaker was search. So if I were to search for that, so N Niehaus and then matchmaker and then the word search, there we go. It's going to pop up. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's see, we're going to go ahead and grab the second one here. And this is the one, so if you want to find this one and follow along from this point forward, I'm sorry, that may have been a little more confusing than necessary. Just search for N Niehaus. You can see it on the screen here, right? Neighborhood matchmaker was search -2. That's going to get you to this place. Now, you can start from scratch if you want, but if you go through this process that I'm going to show you, it's going to make it really, really simple for you. So the other stuff that you will need in order to go through this process is you're going to need access to some kind of AI. I'm going to show you ChatGPT today. There's a free version of ChatGPT. Use that one if you can't afford to pay, but you can actually write code with some of the other platforms like Claude, for instance, okay? The other thing you're going to need, and I don't have time to show this to you right now, but it is also very easy to do, is you will need an API key for the AI tool that you want to power your tool, okay? So I'm using OpenAI's API, okay? So what you do if you want to go ahead and register for that is you just search for OpenAI API. It's going to take you to the website. You register for an account. You're going to need to put in credit card information to generate your API key, and then you just generate a new API key, all right? It takes about 5 seconds, or 5 minutes, I guess I should say. 5 steps is really what I was getting at there, right? It's really simple. So once you have that API key, the rest of this is basically going to flow. Now, the reason I'm not going to show you how to go get your API key is that I have had people watch trainings I've done on this before and steal my API key. So I don't want to do that, all right? So I'm not going to open myself up to that potential here. If you need to figure it out, Google it. It's not that hard, right? So here we are. There's 3 things we have, right? We have a huggingface.co. We probably need a membership, again, free. We've registered for that. We've got our API key, and we have our ChatGPT, all right? Here's what you're going to do. First thing I need to do is go to the Files tab here at the top. There are several files in here. And again, you don't have to know how to do any code, so don't be scared by what you see here so far. We're going to go ahead and click on the app.py file. And this is essentially the code for the tool, right? And you can see it's 143, it looks like, total lines of code. And that's it. This is all the code that powers that tool that not only recommends neighborhoods, but even generates a search for those homes, right? You're probably going to make something that's a little bit less complicated than this. So let me go ahead and copy this code, right? Then I'm going to go over to ChatGPT. I'm going to start a new chat. And here's the important thing. You got to get the prompt right. I'm sure if you're here, you know how important prompts are, right? So here's the prompt I want you to give ChatGPT. I want you to act as an expert Python coder. I'll give you some example code, and I want you to create new versions of the tool that act the way we design. only change the parts of the code that are necessary for the new functionality. Don't change anything else. Here's the template code. And I cannot type. All right, so then you go ahead and put some space. If you hold shift and hit enter twice, you can move down a couple lines. Then I copied all that code in, right? So here it is. And I'm going to go ahead and hit enter to submit that. Now, what this is going to do, and I think this is funny. I don't know why. ChatGPT overheard like the radio playing in the background the other day, and it decided my name is now Jim. You can probably see from my recording, my name is Nick, not Jim. So I don't know why it thinks my name is Jim, but that doesn't matter. We're going to ignore that part, all right? So, okay, it says great. That's great. Okay, what do we want to modify? What are we going to make? Okay, so just for demo purposes, I run a school that teaches primarily real estate agents how to use video in their business. So why don't we make a tool that helps a real estate agent come up with ideas for their next 5 videos, and then even outlines how they should create that video, right? Like that would be super helpful for the kinds of people that we serve. So then I can go out into Facebook groups and run my ads and do all my other stuff and say, hey, if you're struggling to figure out what your next videos should be about, why don't you come use my custom trained AI tool, and you're going to be able to come up with ideas for your videos, right? Great way to get leads and get people into my database. So that's what we're going to do. So we say, let's make a tool that helps a real estate agent come up with topics for their next 5 videos. Tool should also help outline how they should make each one. Okay, that's it. So far, so good, right? I mean, this has not been complicated at all. So here we go. It is writing custom new code for the tool that I just described. Now, you might be sitting there going, yeah, but I don't know what tool to make. Talk to the AI, right? I mean, really at this point, and I'm sure you're kind of on the same page with me on this, there's nothing that should make you stuck, right? When we have access to AI, we can talk to AI. It's going to respond to us. It's going to answer our questions. It's going to help us brainstorm. There's no reason to get stuck anymore. So if you are stuck when it comes to how to write the code, if you're stuck with what kind of tool to make, just talk to AI, right? So if I didn't know what to make, I would just say, hey, look, I want to make a tool. Here's what my business does. Here's who my client is. What tool should I make? In fact, I made a tool that will answer that for you, right? I didn't go over it in the demo here, but you can just talk to the AI directly and it's going to help you figure that out, right? Now, this usually takes 30 seconds, maybe less, all right? And it's going to give me this entire new code. And so here's the moment of truth when we do these demos. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to come back to this tool here, and I'm going to replace the existing code with the new code, right? So let me go ahead and do that. Click on edit. We highlight all the existing code. We're going to delete it, and we're going to paste the new code in. You can see the new code is actually much shorter. Now, before I go any further, and let's go ahead and save it just so it starts processing. You click on this where it says commit changes to main to save it. Before we go any further, though, I want to point this message out. This message inside of the tool, it's called the initial message or initial messages, right? This is the prompt. So in essence, what we're making here is we're making a tool that has a prompt built into it, right? So the beauty of these tools is they eliminate steps for the user. So instead of having to go to an AI and think through how you're going to write your prompt and get it to behave the way you want it to behave and have to even have the initial thought in your head of, oh, AI could maybe help me with this problem, we're flipping that script around and we're saying, look, I made something that can help you with this problem. Why don't you come use it? So if I have that problem, I don't have to think through any of that. I just have to come in, fill in the boxes on your form, click enter, and I get a completely customized response as a result. So this part in here, this is the prompt. So what I'm getting at is if you don't like what it comes up with, you come in here and you can make direct edits to that prompt. Now, you can also go back to ChatGPT and say, hey, I don't like how it worked. Here's the parts I didn't like. Can you change it? And it will also do that, okay? Once we save the new code in here, we come back and we click on app here at the top, and we give it just a second here, and all of a sudden, look at that. It's a different tool, right? I mean, this is not what we had initially. We had that neighborhood matchmaker. Now we have a real estate video topic generator, all right? And let's say I want to attract first-time home buyers who own a dog and are both nurses. I'm just making stuff up on the spot at this point, all right? We'll click on generate video topics, and here let's see if it works. I mean, if it works on the first try, that's pretty darn good. There might be some changes we need to make, right? So there you go. I mean, every time I do this, I make up a new idea for a new tool, and I start from scratch. I didn't rehearse this at all. Look at this, right? Possum homes for nurse dog parents, a first-time buyer's guide. I mean, think about if this was your ideal customer and they saw this video, there is literally no one else that video could have been made for. It's going to feel to them like you literally already know them, right? I mean, this stuff, it blows my mind how powerful it is. And because we did the hard work for them of building the tool and creating the prompt and all this kind of stuff, that's all they have to type in. They just come in and say, look, I want to get first-time buyers that own a dog and they're both in the medical industry or whatever, right? Boom, here you go, 5 ideas. Now, there is one thing that you'll see here, and you might not be able to see it on your end, but what happened at the bottom here is it just got cut off, okay? So I do want to address that. So if we come back, so this is pretty good already. I mean, there's not much I have to change here, but what I can do is I can come back to ChatGPT and say, the output got cut short. Fix that, right? That's it. Now it's going to go, okay, sorry, that's not good. We need to make some adjustments. Boom, it's going to output the new code. I copy it. I replace it in Hugging Face. That's it. That really is it. I mean, the fact that more people are not already doing this surprises me. I expect this to catch on quickly because of how powerful it is. And I really do think this is going to replace the current format that we currently use, right? You want to download this thing, great. Okay, click, download it. But instead now it's, hey, do you want a completely customed answer to this? Now, there's all kinds of versions of this, right? I'm not going to get in every single one, obviously, but I want you to think about what you could make for your business, right? Even if you're not a business owner, maybe you're a salesperson. I mean, whatever it is, this is the kind of thing you can immediately incorporate into your business. Now, I want to show you 2 other kind of parts here. Number one is, okay, I got the tool now on Hugging Face. I want to put this on my website. You'll first want to go into settings and make sure it's set to public. If it's set to private, that's a great way for you to use it and test it, but you won't be able to embed it on your website. Switch it to public. That will make it available for people to use on here on Hugging Face, okay? So keep that in mind. If you don't want other people to be able to use your tool, you're going to have to go another route. So this is going to make it public for everybody to use it. There are not going to be that many people that use it on Hugging Face, right? But there might be. And then that also means now I can embed the tool. So I click on this little 3-button drop down, this little hamburger menu here. It's going to give me the option. Oh, and it looks like I actually have to switch my settings. Let me make it public. So I'll do that real quick. And then I can come here, click this, and I can embed it, right? The other thing you should notice is you can duplicate the spaces, right? So when I should have mentioned this earlier, I apologize, I skipped a step. When you find my space, you're going to want to duplicate it. You're going to give it a new name, and you're going to put your API key here, okay? That's it. Then you click duplicate space. It's going to create one of these, and then you'll have your own copy, okay? So very easy to do. You won't be able to edit mine. You're going to obviously have to make a duplication of it and then edit that one from there, right? But once you're done, you literally click on embed this space, you grab this code, and you put it in like a blog post on your website. I mean, that's it. That's literally all you have to do, okay? That's it. I mean, I honestly, every time I present this, I think it goes even faster than it did the previous time because the AI gets better. A lot of times I've demoed this process before. I've had to go back and forth with ChatGPT and explain what was wrong. And I'll tell you right now, it works. If you get any errors, if it responds and says, hey, I can't respond, I can't generate, which it used to do more often. Again, it just sort of gets it right, usually from the beginning now, which is really cool. If that happens, though, you just copy the error, You go back to ChatGPT, you post it, and you don't have to say anything else. You just literally post, just paste it in the chat, and it'll understand what you're getting at. It'll say, oh, that error is because of this thing. Let me change your code and give it back to you. I mean, you do that a few times until you get the version you want, and you're pretty much good to go. All right. So that's it. That's all I really wanted to share with you today. I will tell you right now, if this interests you and you want to learn more, just reach out, right? Find me on social media. I don't have, a course or anything to sell currently. I may end up developing something in that vein. So by the time you see this, maybe I have, maybe I haven't. But I'll tell you what, if you want to go ahead and find me, again, it's Nick Niehaus. You can find me on probably either Facebook or LinkedIn. I would be happy to share with you what I've put together, right? So again, just let me know what you thought of this at the very least, right? If this seems like something you might use in your business or it might be useful for what you are doing, I'd love to hear your feedback, right? So again, that's all I got for you today. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you giving me some time to come in and share this with you. And, hopefully that was useful to see. I'd love to see what you create. So if you do decide to make your own AI powered lead magnets, hit me up and share them and let me check them out. All right. Thanks for watching this, and I will see you later.
You're watching Teach Me AI with host Nick Niehaus.